Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sue, and today I'm talking all about the Estee Lauder Maximum Cover Foundation. I have been a big fan of the Double Wear, and I wanted to try this out. It's one of the foundations in the Estee Lauder arsenal that I haven't tried before, and I thought with summer coming, it might be a good opportunity to see how it performs. Now, I've read some excellent reviews on the website, and that's what piqued my curiosity. I'll tell you a little bit about the foundation and how Estee Lauder describes it. So let's see what they say on their website. It gives you 12-hour wear. It's soothing, natural-looking liquid cream makeup for concealing all skin imperfections, including surgical and acne scars, birthmarks, sunspots, and varicose veins. Full coverage, matte finish. It comes in 15 different shades, and it comes in a 30ml squeezy bottle, which really appeals to me as well. I love this kind of packaging because you can throw it around and it's really travel friendly. So a little bit about my skin. I'm 50 years old. I have enlarged pores, texture, fine lines and wrinkles, and I have normal combination skin. So I do have an issue with keeping my skin matte throughout the day. I normally have to blot a couple of times throughout the day. And one of the things that I detest about foundations is something that slides around and that's going to transfer onto everything. And that's what I really liked about this foundation. I thought, well, you know, if it's good enough for covering acne scars and birthmarks, it's going to be a foundation that's going to stay put. So I went in store, I got a little sample of the product, and I am normally an Ivory Beige shade in the Estee Lauder products. And so this was no different. I picked up a sample in Ivory Beige. It does look a little bit lighter than the normal Ivory Beige in the Double Wear foundation. So I'll just show you a color comparison. It does seem to be quite a bit lighter. And you can see the differences on my hand. So that over there is the original, and next to it is the Maximum Cover. But what I did see, having trialed it on my wrist, is that it did oxidize slightly. So I thought, well, let me try this shade. It is a very thick foundation, so it really doesn't move around. And they say that it's highly pigmented, so a little bit goes a long way. So I'm not going to attempt to apply this with a sponge. I thought I would go in with a brush. So I'm just going to dot a little bit onto my skin, and we're going to see how this blends with a brush. I'm going to blend it in with a flat-topped foundation brush. You can use any foundation brush, I'm sure. And I'm just going to start buffing that into the skin. I have moisturized my skin quite thoroughly. I've also applied my SPF, and today I'm going in with my Nivea Sun SPF 50. And I think the trick with this, just looking at the consistency, is that you do have to moisturize quite well. So it really is giving me a very full coverage. And I'm sure that you could shear this out slightly if you added a little bit of oil or a little bit of the Estee Lauder Advanced Night Repair. But it is giving me a very full coverage. It feels lightweight on the skin, so it doesn't feel like I'm wearing anything, but definitely a little bit too light for my skin. And hopefully we are going to see a little bit of oxidization. And that's not something that you will hear me say about a foundation, because if it oxidizes, it's no good. But it's interesting that the shade is not consistent with the Ivory Beige shade across the rest of the range in the Futurist and in the Estee Lauder Double Wear. It is a little bit light. This does only come in 15 shades compared to, I think, the 40 that the original comes in. So you will not necessarily find your shade. If you have the Estee Lauder original, you'll just need to see which one closest matches your skin. So I have been quite liberal with this, applying it onto my cheeks. Probably don't really need to apply that much at all. And on my forehead, I'm just basically using what's left on the brush. And yes, it really is definitely a very full coverage, but it doesn't look cakey at all. It really just covers everything. I have got a couple of blemishes which is covered. And the one thing I'm very keen to see is how it behaves on my pores. And it really does seem to be blurring them. It's not settling into them off the bat. So that is quite interesting. I'm just buffing it to make sure that it is seamless. So it's looking really good. I'm going to apply a little bit of blush. And I'm not quite sure whether to go in with a cream or a powder, but I think I'm going to go in with a little bit of the powder. So before I do that, I am going to put some setting powder onto my cheeks. And I'm going in with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless powder. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of that to the forehead area, just to take a little bit of the shine away. So it is matte, but you can see it has got a little bit of a shine pre-powder. And then I'm going to take a little bit and just dab it onto my cheek where I'm going to put the foundation, and just also to kind of lock it in. So this powder does help to blur pores as well. So it's really no harm in putting a little bit of that onto the skin. So just a little dash. I haven't gone overboard. Now I'm going to apply a little bit of blush. I'm going in with Wet n Wild Pearlescent Pink, taking just a small blush brush, and I'm just going to pat that onto the cheek. And it works really well. The foundation is not sliding around at all. And it's really amplifying the blush. So I really like that. It's not, the blush is not kind of muddying with the foundation or blending with the foundation. So I really like that. Just going to do the other side. And then I'm going to pop on a little bit of lipstick. And then I'm going to come back and we're just going to talk a little bit about the application. Just looking at my skin after the application, this is definitely a fuller coverage than the original. That I can say off the bat. But we just want to see what the kind of staying power is throughout the day and how it reacts with the skin, and if it's better than the original. But it really looks very, very good. It really looks quite flawless. I think if you are looking for something that is going to cover blemishes and acne marks, I think that this is a good bet. And that's just within 5 minutes of application. So, of course, we don't know yet how it's going to wear. It doesn't look cakey at all. It really looks quite flawless. It has oxidized slightly, which is absolutely fine because, as I say, it was a little bit lighter than the shade that I always use in the original double wear, even though it is the same shade, Ivory Beige. So it has oxidized slightly. I can see it kind of settling into the lines around my mouth. So those I'm just going to blend over. But it really looks good. So I'm going to go about my day and I'm going to come back in about 8 hours or so, and we're going to see how this foundation has performed. I've now had the foundation on for almost 11.5 hours. So let's see how it fared. Well, if I look at my skin, the foundation looks pretty much intact. It hasn't settled into my fine lines. It hasn't settled into my wrinkles. It has settled slightly into my pores. It's also worn off on my nose. I have had to blot throughout the day. I do have normal combination skin, so it's very common for me, very usual for me to blot. And with this foundation, I did have to do that. I haven't powdered down at all, but there were oils that peeked through. So I've blotted about 3 times throughout the day. But in terms of overall wear, it's really done a fantastic job, and it really is still looking very, very good. So how does it compare to the Estee Lauder Double Wear? Well, I would say that it's definitely a much fuller coverage, and it definitely has a longer wear time, I would say. So if you are looking for something that is going to give you coverage, for example, for spider veins or some pigmentation, if you're very conscious of that and you do like a heavier coverage, then the Maximum Cover Foundation would be the way to go. It does feel very light on the skin. It doesn't look cakey at all. The original Estee Lauder Double Wear would suffice if you don't have a whole lot that you want to cover up. So it does give you a full coverage, but it's not specifically for covering things like scars, pigmentation, or spider veins. So this one, just with one layer, can do that. So that's how it compares to the Estee Lauder Double Wear. It would be a great foundation for mother of the bride if you're having a day where you have to go literally from the morning to late at night, and you are looking for a foundation that's not only budge proof or bulletproof, which this one definitely is, but if you want that little bit of extra confidence that it's absolutely not going to wear off and it's going to give you the coverage that you need. So all in all, I'm really pleased with it. It really doesn't come across as a thick, heavy, cakey foundation. It just gives you a beautiful, flawless coverage. The only drawback is that it does only come in 15 shades, so you might struggle to find your shade. But it really is an excellent foundation if you are looking for something specifically to cover up pigmentation, spots, and that kind of thing. It's definitely a great one to look out for. So let me know, guys, if you have used this foundation, if you've tried it, and what your thoughts are. I'm really, really pleased and quite surprised at the performance and the way that it looks on the skin. I really didn't expect this. I was kind of thinking the worst, and thinking that I would kind of feel and look like I had thick foundation on, which was definitely not the case. So if you have tried it, let me know. Please leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.